It's like I have a very specific set of beer glasses that absolutely 100% do not get washed in the dishwasher, except for the dedicated one that is filled with PBW, because it breaks solids down and you never get bubbles on the side of the glass. Because I'm a presentation fanatic. So like when I pour a beer for somebody, I want to hand it to them. It's nice, cold, clear, and there's no like weird little bubbles sticking to the glass.
Okay. Because
that's like the biggest warning sign of a bad beer is it's dirty in the glass, and those bubbles are nucleation sites from dirt in the glass.
Okay.
So I keep beer clean glassware at all times.
Nucleation site. What a cool fucking word. Do you know what nucleation sites mean? Well, sucks to be you if you don't.
It's just a place where CO2 can break off and form on grime, dirt, dust, paper towel bits,
boogers.
Somebody hands you a beer and it's got a bunch of
it's the same
bubbles coming up off the side. Those are those sites.
Yeah, it's kind of like what happens when you put a Mentos in a Coke. It's because of the nucleation sites, the pockets that the CO2 can form off of. That instigates
this is the kind of dude you want to go into business with if you're looking to hop in the beer business.
Yeah, it sounds dumb, but I was on the cover of Ink Mag. Remember Ink Magazine?
I loved Ink Magazine.
I was on the cover of Ink Magazine for an article they called Beer Science, and
that's fucking wild. Yeah, because I used to get those all the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways.
Wow. Anyway, welcome to Savor the Burn. My name is Jonathan. This is W2. How do you do?
Doing fantastic. I'm excited to get into this bottle.
Yeah, the bubbles. I'm on the wrong motherfucking page and shit. That's a little DJ Quick reference for you if you're into old school hip hop. The Smoke Wagon Private Barrel straight bourbon whiskey brought to us from Bubbles.
From Bubbles,
Wine and Spirits. And before we get into that, we need to get into this guy. His name's Phil Mitchum, beer maker extraordinaire.
Episode number 2.
Yes, also a fellow musician here in the Kansas City scene. What's the name of the band?
Current Reset to Zero.
Reset to Zero, and formerly of 9 Volt Junkie.
I bet if we have enough time.
And A Day After and Third World Sin. Yeah.
Are any of these available on streaming sites?
Yep, absolutely.
All of them?
Yep.
Well, fuck.
I bet if we have time, I bet we could find a Rocktail in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, we gotta have Rocktail.
Oh man. All of them. But just pick a topic. I probably got a story.
Well, hopefully you got one whiskey related.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Problem solved. So tonight we're doing this one here. It's a Smoke Wagon. You saw the last episode. We did a side-by-side of the Smoke Wagon. These guys here, I don't know if you can see it in camera here, but the Smoke Wagon, the OG and the Halloween label, and the Smoke Wagon Unfiltered Uncut. We enjoyed both, so we have no doubt that we're going to enjoy this one here. But how much are we going to enjoy it? This one here's a single barrel option, right?
Right. The Private Barrel is their store pick program.
Store pick.
So as a store, as a entity, as in anyone with that can buy a barrel.
Yeah, anyone with enough money to buy a barrel.
Yeah.
Or a half barrel.
So my understanding is, as a store owner, as whoever, you meet with them, say, hey, we're interested in this. You talk about what you're looking for, what are your flavor profiles that you kind of hone in on. And then they pick 6, 10, however many barrels that they think are kind of in that wheelhouse for you to try. And so
they'll send you samples. And you try them out, and you get a little group together.
And I imagine very similar
tasting
to here not that long ago, our friends up in Montana at Ghostwood had a live stream, and they talked about it a little bit. And if I remember correctly, they talked about after they meet with and they send out samples. And
they'll do a little Zoom meeting with you.
Yep, they do a Zoom meeting, and after they decide which one that they want, they try to get that bottled up as quick as possible,
as soon as possible,
to preserve the flavor profile. I had never thought about that before, but that's so makes a lot of sense because the longer it's sitting in that barrel, that flavor profile is going to continually change
week, month,
up until the point that it goes into glass.
And we did think about that though at Rieger's, that champion whiskey.
Oh,
what did they call it? 53.
So down at Rieger's, they have a bottle your own, which is it's part of their private stock program, but they have a bottle your own right there. So they've got the barrel sitting there behind the glass with the tube coming down, where you can actually buy, and you get to put your own labels on there and it's handwrite. Well, when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, well, back up. That is usually about, I think, if I remember correctly, they said about $130 bottle.
Okay.
Because the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, they decided they picked a barrel specifically for that, and it became a $54 bottle of your own because of Super Bowl 54. And so,
and it's single barrel,
right? So that was what, February, right?
Fucking sitting there,
and so
it's getting lower and lower by the bottle pour, like.
And you back up a couple weeks. About a month ago, we went down there a couple months ago, and we're like, we should do this. We should do this.
Yeah.
And my sister's not going to see this till after her birthday, so that's okay. I'm going to talk about it for her birthday.
Feliz cumpleaños.
I got her a bottle of it.
That's so cool.
And so
you went through the whole experience in the.
Chandler was down there for an event, and so I was just like, "Dude, if you could get this, I will give you
Chandler
money."
Did it for her.
So
he probably spit in the bottle.
So he bottled it for her. But yeah, we talked about if they started that bottling that barrel right after the Super Bowl, that's a completely different pour than what I just had bottled a couple weeks ago. I mean, that's and that's not a lot of time, but you're talking about 5 months.
No, we didn't have a tasting of that one. We had a tasting of something similar.
We had that one, and we had one of their other ones.
Okay.
We had the Monarch, and then we also had...
Man, I remember it being really good, and I really wanted to get my hands on a bottle of that stuff. So we're going to end up coming back. Yeah. Right. I mean, if you got $54 to spend on a great bottle of whiskey, if you're a whiskey enthusiast,
you know what we say
about
that, though?
What do we say about that?
It's for the podcast.
It's for the podcast. Sorry, darling. It's like, you need to stop bringing these bottles home. Like, it's for the podcast. What do you want from me?
But back to Smoke Wagon.
Back to Smoke Wagon. Yeah, this one here is a private barrel.
This is their private barrel program.
That Bubbles Wine and Spirits picked out specifically to bottle up.
And if you're not familiar with Bubbles, Bubbles has a store in North Kansas City and a store in Parkville. So if you're heading up 435 up towards the airport,
in the Kansas City area,
the Parkville exit right there, you can't see it from the highway.
Yeah,
there's all the trees right there. Right around that corner, there's all this new development right there. There's a great pizza and whiskey bar that's right there.
Yeah.
There's a char bar. There's a handful of things, and then I think there's also some high-end apartments or whatever that are there. But there's a Bubbles right there that's relatively new, and they are doing all kinds of store picks now. And this is one of the ones that they did earlier this year.
Yeah, we ran into the Moray crew. If you're metal, local metal here in the KC area, Moray is a great band. I don't think they're doing anything anymore. They could easily do it and have a packed house, but
half the band is scattered to the wind.
Yeah. Patrick's off in this area, and you got fucking
I don't know, is Clark still in town?
Clark, yeah, he's off in another area of the world, U.S., whatever, but yeah, and Adam's in like 2 other bands, and Krista, she's busy printing, and actually didn't she just start up another band?
I think so.
With Jeremy, like she's playing guitar, and he's playing bass.
Yep. But they did our Savor the Burn t-shirts.
They did. So if you click the description on YouTube, you drop down, you'll see a link to the store. You can go right there and check out the Savor the Burn shirt. It's like the first thing to pop up in the shop, or just go to savortheburn.com/shop and check it out.
You can't beat it.
You can't beat it at all. So you tell the fine folks watching or listening, and I will pour
away. I don't have
this one here.
I don't have a whole lot to talk about with this one because there's really not a whole lot of information. This is their private barrel program. This is the Smoke Wagon Private Barrel straight bourbon whiskey, bottled by or barrel pick from Bubble Single Barrel Store Pick. It's their single barrel program. So like we talked about, you're a store, you're an entity, you're a whoever, and you want a barrel. This is the program that puts you in there. So it's the same type of bottle as the uncut, unfiltered bottle, with the exception of
the wax puck.
It has the red wax puck, and then our labels are white and red, and have the hand signing of the batch number or the barrel number and the ABV and proof.
And not glow in the dark.
It doesn't glow in the dark.
There's no skull. It's not.
There's no skull. There's no guns.
But it's still.
Oh, wait, no,
There's
the
guns.
gun's on
There's
the
guns
puck.
right up here on the
Is
top.
it a composite or is that a real cork?
Oh, okay, yeah.
That looks like it might be a real cork.
Wow, weird. It looks composite, but it's modeled like a real cork.
Yeah, I think it is. It's composite.
Fucking hybrid. It's
Composite.
composite-esque. It's mushroom cork. I don't know why I did that, but whatevs. Actually, I know exactly why I did it.
It's one of those things. It's one of those things where you just don't do that, but you do it anyway just because. You're like, I'm just
put my
I'm
nose
just-
on it.
Like, I'm not going to get anything out of this, but yep.
So scroll back through. So the uncut, unfiltered bottle that we tried was 115.36 proof.
Yes.
This one is 121.26 proof.
Yeah. So it's a little hotter.
It's a little hotter.
It's a little hotter, and the uncut, unfiltered. It was smooth though for 115 point. What was it? 6? You said.
115.36.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was surprising.
So I'm not going to question or call anyone out, but and I get the description that we talked about them. What was the word they used? Straining that through the wood chips, the charcoal wood chips. I get that. That's technically a technicality. That's not filtering.
Right.
You're straining it through there.
We didn't filter it. We strained it. We didn't filter it. We strained it.
Through wood chips.
Through wood chips.
I think I think you could argue that that's a level of filtration.
Yeah.
But where I'm going with that though is it's batched. So it's not single barreled. This is single barreled. And as a result of that, we end up with a bottle that's 6 proof higher than the other one. And so
And
Where I'm going with that-
we know that it hasn't been strained through wood chips, right? Can we say that for sure? Or
I have no idea.
There's no
I don't know.
I didn't see
A lot of these barrel pour videos you see that pop up on like Instagram or YouTube or whatever, like they uncork the thing, they unstopper it, whatever, they unplug it, unbung it, and then they roll it over and it goes into like a whole pile of charcoal wood.
Yeah, and I don't think that is filtering. Filtering is
That's gotta be the strain.
you've got the whether it's a paper or wire or whatever.
Microns.
You're filtering out just like with the chill filtration is pulling all those fatty.
They get it down there at
deposits
freezing
out of-
temperature and then they filter it.
Yep.
Pull out those fatty deposits.
So it's
Give me the
it's
fat.
not
Give me the fat.
it's not that level of a process. But I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. This is a higher proof than the uncut, unfiltered. And just thinking about it and saying that, my brain goes, well, if it's uncut, unfiltered, why is it not as high a proof as this? This is single barrel.
Maybe
So-
because it's batched for one. I mean, different barrels have different proofs.
Right.
And,
And so, which is going to level out the proof.
And
when
every
it's all
batch is
batched
going to
together.
have a different proof
Right.
total.
Yep.
I would think.
Yep.
This one here, it's single barrel, so it's like Blanton's.
Well,
it could be, what?
Oh, I was just going to say, this is also 7-year age versus the other one has no age statement. So this
Okay.
being
That's-
7 years probably means it's got more age on it than the other one.
More
Maybe,
evaporation, maybe.
It's good
yeah,
color.
a little more evaporation.
Yeah, no, it
brought
looks-
us
the color's
more
freaking
proof for
great.
sure. Yeah, that's a beautiful color.
Those
I didn't give it
legs.
I didn't give it the swirl. Oh
Got the
shit!
striping.
whiskey. I didn't give it the swirl. I didn't give it the swirl earlier, so I
Careful, Ryan. Things in here don't react well to bullets.
yeah, like me.
Oh man.
You fucking went Red October with it, man. That's awesome. Where have you been all my life? We should start a band.
Oh man, have you seen that? Sorry, I'm gonna get totally derailed. My ADD is kicking in.
Welcome to
have
the
you
podcast.
have you seen that video where it's Arnold Schwarzenegger singing Tina Turner?
No.
Oh, I want to dance with somebody. I want to feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I want to dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. I saw that video, and I immediately for like 2 weeks straight practiced it in the shower, and it finally paid off.
And the wife's like, what?
Oh no, she gave up on me a while.
Gave up?
Yeah, she's like, okay, go ahead.
She's a gem, dude. Yeah, we met her earlier. She's
the sweetest woman I've ever met.
She's a quality find. I don't know how you found her, but
online.
good time. This is great on the nose.
Yeah,
There's all kinds of stuff happening here. I mean, it smells like honey.
so it's like
Light bits of oak.
like the uncut, unfiltered. The nose, the sharp edges are rounded off a little bit. It's not. It's got a softness to the nose.
Yeah, I mean,
The
there's still,
ethanol burns not that bad.
which is wild. But like, can we pick
Berries?
that up on the
Berries.
Yeah, there's berries. There's
Caramel,
honey.
vanilla.
I think the sweet
Definitely.
Some oak.
vanilla.
honey. Yeah, vanilla. It's almost like you ever get like a new pool that you're filling up with water,
No.
and it's got like a. I mean, like it's like you get on a school bus and they got new seats, right? It's got like a certain there's a certain smell in the air that's got like a little touch of that.
That new
Like
leather.
It's like you just opened
like a
a slip and
chemical,
slide.
little chemical.
But I mean, it's sweet.
I get some of that too. It's kind of like I almost wanted to say like new car smell, but not that strong. It's just very subtle.
Yeah, it's super subtle. Not a problem with it at all.
like
Yeah,
it's
you guys called it
overriding.
right. Berries and
Yep.
honey, a light bit of oak. It's.
That's like a toasty.
I'm ready for the palate.
Let's do it.
toasty.
Bubbles.
It's one word you can't say really angry without smiling. Bubbles. Like I mean, bubbles. Like, but yeah, but then you're faking it. You're not like, can you ever be angry and just say bubbles while you're angry?
Cherry Coke.
Yes. This is definitely a.
All right,
I was thinking like a doctor. I was thinking like a Dr. Pepper.
I was holding it on the palate
Dr. Pepper.
while he was over here laughing, and I was like, "What is he laughing at?" And then when he said it, I couldn't swallow it then, so I had to hold it on the palate longer. You can't be angry and scream bubbles, unless you're Nathan Explosion. Bubbles.
Yeah.
No, pickles. Pickles was a drummer,
Pickles.
not bubbles. Stupid.
No, I will say that despite the higher proof, it does give off a burn more than the one we tasted prior.
Expectedly, you expect there to be a burn.
Right.
Longer finish because of it.
Much.
And the finish draws out longer on it. But
This is really
cherry Coke. I was thinking Dr. Pepper,
or like cherry Dr. Pepper.
somewhere in between there. Or cherry Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. That's really good.
It's pretty delicious.
Yeah, it's almost like effervescent, kind of like bubbly.
Yeah.
It's carbonated. It's not carbonated, but it's got like a mouthfeel to it where it feels like it
Where on the exhale,
would've
on
been.
the exhale, it feels like it's kind of sparkling off the tongue a little
sparkling.
bit.
Yeah, it's sparkling bourbon whiskey.
But I will say that second, third sip, it really starts to smooth over.
Definitely.
The sweetness starts.
And
to
it was
build up.
already smooth to begin with.
Yeah, like it just starts to be now. It's like more of a.
I don't necessarily think it drinks all that hot, but when I exhale,
Oh yeah, you
There's
can tell.
fire on that exhale.
You can tell you've got alcohol going
On the palate, it doesn't mouth feel like 121 proof. But maybe our taste buds are just fucking fried because of the whole year that we've been doing this. But year and a half now, whatever. But I mean, I've had 90 proofs that are mouth feel hotter than this.
yep.
Well, and the thing about
Nobody said Jim Beam.
this is the kind of example where this is the kind of example where on the mouth, like right as you're taking a sip, not a big deal. It's as it starts to roll down that the heat really pushes up through. Which for me,
I agree with that.
I like it. I don't mind it, but it definitely gets hot as it goes down.
This is one I don't know if I would want it in a cocktail. This
No,
this
I wouldn't do
this
that.
is a nice sipper by itself.
Yeah.
This makes me, and I'm not a big cigar smoker, but this makes me want to grab a cigar, hands down, like a good Cohiba or something.
You ever seen a Buffalo Trace cigar?
Or a Buffalo Trace.
Or a
cigar.
Buffalo? No, I've not had one of these. No, but yeah, no, like
I need to smoke that before it gets.
yeah,
too
don't let it
dry
get
out.
too old.
I
yeah.
thought you'd take it to Sturgis with you. Flex in front of your friends.
It's not going to survive that long.
No? Okay. On the way. He's going to have like little bits of ashes in his eyes. But like, fucking man. Good times.
I would like to have a video segment of me rolling down the highway with a big fat
You're taking
stogie.
that. You're taking the camera with you because we need all that. Everything is content.
It's for the podcast.
It's for the podcast.
podcast.
Come on.
We got a podcast.
I think I scored this one higher.
I guess I need to get to
Across
some
the
numbers,
board.
don't I?
Yep. Yep.
Man, this is
I'm
Here,
thinking through
this
this,
is
one.
good.
It's really good.
wow.
Yeah, it really is.
It's just that color is just freaking great. I love
Yeah.
I mean, it's not too dark. It's got just it's just a solid.
it. And just look at the runner on
Bronze.
this thing. I mean, it's just. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
see the ribs as it rolls down.
The ribs and the,
Ribs.
runners.
Yeah, you got your little sparkly
baby
legs,
back, baby, back,
and then
baby,
you got
back,
then you
baby,
got these
back.
little he's got these little runners.
Shut up, vegetarian. You don't even eat ribs. You eat celery ribs, damn it. It's even got some cereal notes on the nose too.
I was kind of curious. Yeah, I was kind of curious, just letting it sit for like. I feel like if you let this sit for like 15 minutes,
We have talked about that.
you're gonna find that this whole thing is gonna change.
There is something to letting it air out, and our other buddy Mitch.
Yeah.
I think you know Mitch Plemons.
Name sounds familiar. I'm not matching up.
You'd know him if you saw him.
I'm sure that would be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Hey, Mitch.
yeah.
It's like,
we-
hey, Steve.
We've had him on a couple times. We've had him on a couple times, but one of the times that he was on, he brought to the table something that he had read about, you should, when you open up a bottle, pour it in your glass, let it sit there for a minute per year that it's aged. So if it's a 10-year, let it sit there for 10 minutes. If it's
that's
7 years. And so we kind of put that to the test, and we thought, there is something to that. And as I've kind of, I don't always do that, but I've got a couple higher proof ryes and whatnot that I have purposely poured and walked away and not come back to for 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it helps round it out. The aeration that happens with it sitting there in the glass.
And they do it with wine.
Right. Yeah.
They let it breathe.
It 100% makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I can't see the legs on my glass because of all my stupid fingerprints. I'm a greasy boy. 5'4", 300 pounds, and I sweat a lot.
Man, I sweat just sitting.
Sit and sweat
Yeah, sitting.
by Mattel. Ask for it by name.
Why am I screwing this up? I know how to calculator.
Like I said, I'm a weapon of mass distraction. If you're trying to do something, I'll be all shiny keys.
Oh, and that's beautiful because I have bad attention spans.
Right. It's even
Yeah,
worse
it's
if you got the ADDs. Good times. Everything is awesome except the heart attack.
Yeah, except for the heart attack, I am fine. I can get everything done today. It'll be great.
When we wrap, gonna need to know.
If you don't mind.
Gonna need to know.
really good.
Let people know how to find you and get a hold of you, or if there's anything you want to pimp.
I don't really have a website or anything. I got a Twitch channel.
Twitch channel that would be
Yep.
fine. Is it for
I got a YouTube channel. It's under Jeebus Crisis, though.
Crisis?
Yeah, Jeebus Crisis.
Awesome,
So JeeBusCrisis.
awesome.
It's a Simpsons reference. Save me, Jeebus. And then, Everything's got a joke time.
So, God damn. All right, so I posted that bottle in 3 different groups on the Book of Faces.
Did you get anything for this bottle specifically?
I did. I'll have to filter through the compliments, through the comments. I said, we got any Smoke Wagon fans here? And X group trying this one tonight. Now I have to edit my own words here on the fly. Trying this one tonight, and wondering if y'all have any thoughts on this bottle.
I like
the Private Barrel from Bubbles Wine and Spirits, Kansas City Bourbon
He's ignoring me.
and Whiskey Club. John says the
I'm
bubble
here.
pick is one of my favorite pours right now.
You know,
It's a contender.
I would say it's a contender for
it's
one of
fighting.
it's definitely in my like top 10s.
I mean, you had a taste of it, and you immediately started thinking about your future together. You know,
Yeah.
and
I poured a
like,
second.
You immediately
before I
started
was done.
thinking
I also wanted
steak
a little
and
more.
a cigar
Yeah.
and a pour. You know,
No,
like,
I
we're gonna
immediately-
have an evening together.
No, I would definitely if oh, Jesus. If I had that on my shelf, it would be hard to stay away from. I kept this little sip going while you guys were on tangents. And it has totally changed. Like, it is totally different from when I first tasted it. Like, now it's like a caramel apple
Yeah.
with like that cherry coke. It still has that cherry coke smell to it.
There is a cherry coke, but yeah, there's definitely a caramel apple on it.
And I found the licorice, however you want to pronounce it.
I have not found
Licorice.
that on this bottle.
Licorice.
I found it on the other two. I did not find it.
I didn't find licorice on this one.
Licorice Iglesias. Hey-o. That's for all you ladies out there.
Yeah, I could totally see myself taking a bottle of that out. That's just delicious. And I like how it wears down. Like, and by wear down, I don't mean it as a bad thing, even though it sounds negative. But as it sits out and opens up,
It breathes.
It breathes. It does breathe.
It gives a nice change. So it's like you could start. This would be something arguably I would fill up. Yeah, and I would start fresh, like up to the top.
Let
and
it
then,
sit there for 5 minutes and then
just start sipping away. But that's something that you could fill a glass. Sorry, this is something you could fill a glass of, and for the rest of the night, just come by, take a sip.
100%. Yeah.
Just come by, take a sip, and it just gets better and better and better as it goes down. That's
And there is a half-life on it, right? Like after a year or something like... I think somebody said something about that. Like, if you get it down to half a bottle, finish it off in 3 or 4 months or whatever.
Yes,
Because of the air.
Yeah,
How
there's just too much
far
air in
down
there.
into the bottle you are dictates how quickly it's going to start deteriorating.
So, fun fact, not recommended unless you have it readily available, but you can get CO2 charger guns that are meant to hook onto gas post locks for corny kegs. If you actually vacate the space with a little pop of CO2 before you cork it, you can actually extend that a little bit. It's not forever. Just because it's got CO2 doesn't mean it's going to fix everything. But yeah, after you pour out, if you pop a little CO2, preserves a little freshness.
With what you just said, I just went total Queen and Highlander
Oh, okay.
soundtrack there.
Yeah,
You're feeling me. You're feeling me.
Yeah, you went Queen and I went Whippets. Like the CO2 fucking, did you fill up
No,
the
that's
balloon?
nitrogen. That's the nitrogen.
That's nitrogen,
That's
yeah.
nitrogen. Those are going to be the things you use for like cream.
Yeah, and the fucking universe bends.
CO2 and nitrogen are very two distinct and very different effects. CO2 will suffocate you. Nitrogen will make you go wop, 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 wop.
Give you the Whompers. Womp, womp, womp. If you've been there, you know.
So on the Womps, we just give it on the nose.
Well, yeah.
Nose was 4.25.
How about you, W2?
I give it 4.5.
4.5. That's right where I came in. On the nose, it wowed me first and foremost. 2,
This bottle wowed me.
it had something that the other two didn't, but that's to be expected. It was probably picked because it had some of those qualities. And Bubbles Wine and Spirits, guys, you know what the fuck you're doing. And if you're in the Kansas City area, go
Go visit.
Yeah, that's
go visit. Tell them Savor the Burn sent you. And
It's a great store. They have a great selection. They have a really great key-in allocation room. Where They put all their special ones in there. They constantly have multiple store picks going on at the same time.
And what I will say about that and my score on the nose is, if I knew then what I know now, I would probably easily slide up to a 4.5.
You think so?
But yeah, just letting it sit out and age like that, you start getting this caramel apple crisp cereal rice.
Apple crisp, yeah.
I mean, it just smells really good. The profile really starts to lift. So it's not like something.
Nose is top.
Yeah, it's not like you just like you pour a little bit and you take a little shippy ship. This is something you really want to let set out and breathe.
Yep.
So, anyways, I would modify my shippy ship.
I like that. Wow. Wow. Anyway, so just backstories. Like the way you said that reminded me of like my first guitar player with Sabbath Disciples, and like I haven't heard anybody like actually say anything like that in a long time. So I'm like, you fucking took me right back to fucking 2001, I think it was, and like
when you think about it, we're all
disciples, guys.
You think about it, we're all time travelers.
He get all Shane, is that you? Shane Meyer, open wide. Humans don't have souls. Anyway, so we're playing it in the apes for you. So you gave it a 4.25. We both gave it a 4.5. What did you give it on the palate?
Palate's 4.5.
Easy.
I mean, that's easy. I can't give it perfect, but I was really tempted to do like a 4.75.
4.75
but
could have happened.
4.5, I think, is probably the most reasonable.
My palate experience was a little altered because you immediately started laughing because of the bubbles comment. And so I held it on the palate for extra length. And then, like, once you said why you were laughing, I had to hold it longer because I didn't want to, spit it all over the art department over here. And, like, so, but when it finally left the palate physically, it was like, cherry Coke. And,
which was highly accurate, by the way,
like an oaky cherry Coke.
And I was bouncing between the Dr. Pepper when we were Dr. Pepper cherry Coke. I was like, yes.
We had one that tasted like I don't remember which one it was because my memory sucks. But
After we're done, we might have to give Phil a little pour of the Filmland.
Is that what it was? The Filmland had
the mayhem.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. That would be great. If you're cool, stick around.
It's cherry Dr. Pepper all day long.
This warms you the hell up, though. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. This is a Las Vegas hug. I don't know if it's the $20 or the $250 hug, but we'll find out.
Off stripper.
We'll find out in a couple months whether he shows up with hot freckles or not. Let's see. So W2, what did you give it on the palate?
I kept it with 4.5.
4.5. Yep, like I said, I did too. It's just right across the board.
Yeah,
you got wowed. You got so many different flavors going on in there. It's really good. How about the finish, Mr. W2?
I was trying to roll and give it some Limp Biscuit, but I had 4.25.
4.25. Wow. For me,
the finish was amazing. I don't know why I dropped it by a quarter point because the finish just kept going and going and going.
Yeah.
There was so much.
That's what I loved about it. And like, because I'm a big fan of cherry Coke, I do. It's weird. Like, I like Coke better than I like Pepsi, but I like cherry Pepsi more than I like cherry Coke. It's a weird thing. So you
said it time and time again. Your grandmother.
Yeah, your first thought is your best thought. An Irishman's first thought is his best thought.
So I'm going to keep it at 4.25.
Yeah, keep it at 4.25. Absolutely. This was first crack at the bottle. It didn't sit out. You had 2 or 3 pulls off of it.
The finish was warm to me.
It's warm.
I don't mind that at all. I love.
You didn't pick up any of the licorice on the finish.
I got no licorice on this one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was.
I got Dr. Pepper and cherry Coke all day long. But no licorice on this one. Yeah.
See, guys, like if you try this out for yourselves, get your hands on it. Bring it. If you're in Kansas City and you stop by Bubbles Wine and Spirits and you can find that bottle. And try it out, you're going to know exactly what we're talking about because we got 3 different dudes
Red
here.
Medallion.
Yeah, look for the Red Medallion. and maybe that's indicative of a store pick, like no matter what. But
Yes, it is.
store picks, like if you're an enthusiast like we are, if
Private barrel.
you go grab like the OG version of whatever it is, and then you see that they also have a store pick available, get both.
No.
And try them side by side and see how they compare.
So the uncut, unfiltered,
Yeah.
that's a $76, $78 bottle. This is a $90 bottle.
$90 bottle. And you know what? Those two
In my opinion, that's worth it.
might have been a better compare. Hindsight being
Sure.
2020, those two might have been a better compare because one is uncut, unfiltered, and
So,
that one's single barrel.
barrel.
It's closer to each other.
Yep.
You know, but whatever. You know, it's all good. All good. It's all fucking delicious. Mr. Phil, what did you end up giving it?
So
on the
4 1/4,
finish?
and honestly, even after letting it sit over that long period of time, I'd probably still stick with a 4 1/4. It goes down very, very well, but then there's the backburn that comes up through, and I'm usually not that sensitive to that, but
Right.
I've noticed that as I got to that last sip and took it, that warmth came back through. So. And not that I don't appreciate that. It's just I don't want to be sweaty while I'm sipping, but I'm still again 4 1/4. I mean, it's a fantastic whiskey. Like I mean,
Yep.
It wowed you in a good way.
it was a good way. I just on the finish, there's a little. Granted, it's higher proof. It's just I don't want to be sweaty about it.
How about bottle presentation?
The uncut, unfiltered, I gave a 4.5. I kept this one at 4.5.
All right. All right.
For all the same reasons. I mean, the big difference between this and the uncut, unfiltered is on the front label. You've got a lot of hand filling out here. You know, bottled by, it's bubbles, handwritten. Age statement, 7 years, 60.63 ABV. The barrel number right there. So I thought 4.5 was a great score. Not enough to push it up any farther.
Yeah, it's a really cool
right
standalone, presentation. No, there's no bag. There's no cardboard
No box.
or whatever. Like the Crown Royal fucking blackberry.
No wooden box with a
that everybody
glass
went after.
door.
Yeah, it's not like Booker's with the glass door on the front with a wooden box around the whole thing
Right.
with the stamped branding on the side. That said, this one's got a wax puck. You guys call it a puck?
I call it a pub.
The wax
It's-
medallion.
medallion.
It's
thing
a
on the front.
medallion.
Medallion. It's like the old Tanqueray gin bottles. They've got like the red fucking thing on there. But I mean, maybe they borrowed some
and that-
wax
that
from
is really
Maker's
cool.
Mark to make that.
The uncut, unfiltered has the same medallion,
the black. It's in the
puck,
black.
whatever, but it's black. So
All part of the branding.
So it blends in a lot more. This one's red, so it jumps out like the Makers. You got the wax dip top on there. It's recognizable.
With Makers, I mean, I've seen. I don't know if it's true or not. I've seen different colored wax on different bottles. I don't know if they even do that. It could just be internet fuckery going on there. But like with this one,
I was
absolutely-
excited about that post.
Yeah.
But
The
I
riot
am,
one?
I am 99.9% sure that was an April Fool's.
It had to have
post.
been. It was right
And
around
it
that
bums
time.
me out because I think first off, Makers doesn't they do bourbon.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
all they do.
Right.
If they were to do a rye,
Yeah.
it would have to be a green wax dip.
It would have to be, or at least
that-
green
that
on
would
the
be-
maybe green on the label, even if they did keep the red
But-
wax, just because of the whole branding across the board. If they had to change
those
something,
things are such a pain in the butt. Like I get why it's done. It's style flair.
it's instant. You know exactly
instant.
where that bottle
You
came
know
from.
what you're getting out of it. But man, getting through that wax and then getting to the thing, it's like I just want to get to the bottle, please. Like at least I can cut this and then I'll be done. Or they have the little pre-peel foil thing that you
Yeah.
can pop and then
Yep.
boonk, like.
Which I did before
Don't
you
make
guys-
me have to fight the bottle.
Which I did before you guys got here. I took the cellophane.
Saw that, yeah. Oh, you took the cellophane off these other guys.
Oh yeah, I always try to do that because as we're talking, it's sometimes hard enough to just get the cork off and pour into the bottle.
and
So I take all that off before we even start.
So all I'm trying to say is that leave it to Maker's Mark to just do the wax thing. There's no point in doing it anywhere else.
Yeah, because once you get past the pull the pull tab ring around the top. You got a screw top. You don't have a.
There's no
You don't
point
get
to
that
it.
cool pop of the cork.
It looks cool.
You don't have
I
to
guess.
worry. Is it
more
synthetic? So that's bottle presentation. You gave it a 4 1/4. You gave it a 4 1/2. I gave it a 4 1/2 as well. My final score ended up being 9 1/8. So all added up, it was above 9. That's an incredible bottle. Totally stoked about that. How about you, Mr. W2?
I was a little upset because I felt like this should have been a north of 9 overall, and mine came in at 8.875.
8 7/8.
8 7/8.
Okay. Huh.
Yep. And I was
Super
right around.
close.
I was right around 8.6. What was it?
8.65. Yeah, 8 5/8.
8
So
5/8.
yeah, you're right there.
That's
We're
not
in the right range.
That's not a bad score.
Yeah.
Not bad
That's
at all.
not a bad score at all.
Yeah.
What is that? 50 bips difference? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Basis points. Sorry. Basis points is like the fraction of a percent.
Oh, this is your highfalutin reviewer.
So
Pinkies up.
If you were gonna say 0.2%, it would be 2 basis points. It's a base point of a percentage. Shut up. Shut up. Anyways,
You bring an expert in the
We're
room.
within-
Big me, little you.
we're within a 50 basis point range, which, well, all I'm saying to that,
I'm here to
score-
learn. Honestly, I'm here to learn.
It's
You
basically
throw-
within 0.5 of each other in our scoring, which for a margin of error, 0.5 basis point or 0.5 of the score, right? So 8.6, 9.1, 8.8. We're within 50 basis points of the same score, which for a margin of error on a scale of 5, right? Mm-hmm. That's pretty tight. That's a good score. If I were somebody judging a judge, I would say, nope, that's tight. Round it all together, average it out, however you want to do it, and I think you end up at what, like a 7.75 or it's not some 8.85 or something.
And I've actually done that if you go out on the savortheburn.com website. If you go to the liquor cabinet, I don't have on the main page. They are ranked, or I've got them listed. It's all database driven. They are listed by the collective ranking. When you click on them, you can go in there and see our individual rankings. But
as you scroll down.
But if you go to the about section of the site, if you go to the Savor the Burn, we have our top 8,
something like that.
something like that. And then if you go to my personal page, I've got my top 4. You go to Jonathan's top, it's got his top 4, and I've got the individual scores on there. But the Savor the Burn about page has the collective,
The aggregates.
Yep, the aggregates of all categories. That's the other thing too, is if you go in the liquor cabinet, we've got everything broke down by category. So bourbons are in their own category, rye in their own, scotch is in their own category.
Yeah,
that's
and then
cool.
and then you go and then when you go into there, each category is, even though I'm not displaying an overall ranking on them,
Right.
I've got them sorted by what our aggregate ranking is.
What floats to the top is the first.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's cool.
Cream of the crop. Oh, yeah.
Oh God. I was just trying to remember that dude's name.
The world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rest in peace, Randy Savage.
Oh yeah, Randy Savage. Sorry.
Bonesaw.
Early on in this podcast, we said that one of the 3 things you don't talk about on the podcast was professional wrestling.
Yeah, politics,
And
religion.
we continually
professional
talk about
wrestling.
professional wrestling.
We just can't help it. Yeah, we just don't debate it. I think so, and we have talked about all these things.
We
But we
do.
just don't debate it because, like, why? You know, I'm not going to convince you one way or the other about any of it.
Well, it's because it's professional wrestling. I mean, oh yeah. You know, like, what are you gonna do?
You're going to fucking love it.
Yeah. It's like it's always gonna be entertaining. You're not gonna get mad about it. Like unless you get into
Wait, what was that?
matches.
Yeah, sometimes the matches can be a little.
You gotta leave that. You gotta leave it alone. Gotta leave it alone.
Good
Leave
times.
that part alone.
So, second nose on this. It's like
second nose on this is
to me.
stupid good.
To me, it
It's-
combines the oatmeal, the cereal, the oatmeal cereal with the baking spices, and it almost smells like the cinnamon sugar Quaker Oats instant oatmeal.
I would go with that. I also think it's literally like a seasoned caramel apple Rice Krispie treat kind of
Hear
thing.
me out. You go into 7-Eleven.
Oh boy,
What hour?
smoking like a true fucking musician, dude. Yeah. You ever been to Chubby's?
Their Slurpee machine.
What time?
Their Slurpee machine. Mm-hmm. You do a Dr. Pepper, and then you do the cherry.
Cola, whatever.
Yeah,
on
well,
tap.
no, the cherry.
The cherry icy?
What's the hard candy?
Jolly
Rancher.
Okay.
Jolly Rancher cherry.
Okay.
Dr. Pepper, cherry Jolly Rancher.
All right. No. Every time I hear 7
Yeah.
I can't help but think like,
I don't think my cherry Slurpees were the same as yours. Again, what hour?
Well, then once you're in the parking lot, you slip out the flask bottle.
Now that I think about it, I get it's actually a black cherry.
Okay. Yep.
Like, you remember? Oh man, do you remember?
I'm still getting the oatmeal. With
Well, yeah,
There is oatmeal on there.
yeah. I'm not disagreeing with that. But there's like this like black cherry note. It's like, do you remember? Was it Canadian? Canada Clear Canadian, clearly Canadian.
No.
The water. Clearly Canadian bottled
Yes,
water. It was
yes.
flavored bottled water.
Yes.
They had a black cherry, clearly Canadian.
Okay.
And every time I found it, it was always like $2 for this like stupid like 11-ounce bottle of beverage.
Of water.
But it was good.
Of water, but it was flavored water, and the black cherry in particular that I can't find anymore. Yeah, I
Wow.
mean,
Okay.
and that's what that smell reminds me of.
Yeah,
I did-
usually if it says Canada, I'm not about it.
And that's just what I'm saying on the base.
I
Nothing
love
against you,
the-
Canada, but you're not even a real country anyway.
I do love the bubbly black cherry.
South Park
Oh,
reference.
bubbling black cherry. Yeah.
Bubbly black cherry?
Bubbly black cherry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get the like those what is it?
Carbonated
Icy,
water
the
with
Icy
a
brand.
little bit of
like they have a
flavors.
Starburst cherry flavor. It's okay, but I really like the icy black raspberry.
Oh, icy.
Yeah, yeah. They're in a tall, skinny bottle, and they're like $1 each, whatever at Wally World. And like if you mix it half and half with Sprite, it's like a raspberry cream soda. And I'm not even a fan of cream soda, but that fucking slaps. Fat people know how to mix a drink.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds good. Sounds good. I like anything black cherry though.
So bringing it back to Smoke Wagon, we have yet to have a Smoke Wagon product that we've found disappointing. Like we've had 3 so far, and all 3 they haven't been home runs, but all 3 have been base hits for sure. And like especially this one might be the closest thing to a home run. It's definitely 2 RBIs. It's using sports lingo. I don't even talk sports. When did I ever talk
I'm gonna
sports?
try to steal it.
This is really good. But it's a store pick, and store picks can be hit or miss because they are single barrel, and single barrels by nature are hit or miss. They're not a batch. They're not a blend of any kind. It's just one barrel, and you don't know what this barrel is going to taste like. But when it's a store pick, the entity that W2 alluded to earlier, that could be a store, it could be a podcast, it could be an individual, right? You're
could be a group
gonna
of
get
friends.
a group of friends. You can get they'll send you a sample pack, maybe 6 different bottles, samples from 6 different barrels. Based on the criteria of what it is you're looking for in a bourbon or a whiskey or whatever, and a spirit of choice, if you will, and you get to pick which one you want, if you want any of them.
Yeah.
And Bubbles picked a great barrel, I think.
This is
So
solid.
if you're in the area, if you're in the Kansas City area, definitely check out Bubbles and check out what they have for store picks. Because going by this alone, they know exactly what the fuck they're doing. And this is the second store pick we've had, I think, from Bubbles. Because
Yep.
we also did the Angel's Envy, which was also top fucking notch as far as Angel's Envy goes. And I love Angel's Envy.
And like I mentioned, they constantly have multiple store picks going on at one time. The Angel's Envy, they have this one. They had a honey cask finish Starlight,
right,
and a blackberry finish Starlight.
I would let. Yeah, I tried the
Starlight?
Blackberry
Yeah.
Starlight, and it was better than the Crown Blackberry. But I mean, it's Crown. What do you expect? I mean, sure they get a 5 on bottle presentation, but the juice inside, not so much. Not for me anyway. I haven't really messed with Crown Royal since high school. But that said, definitely check out Bubbles if you're in the Kansas City area, and if you're not, check out whatever your local liquor store is. Your local licorice. Check out what they have in stock. Ask them if they have any barrel picks. And,
Ask if you can lickle.
Lickle, damn near killed them. But see if they have any store picks. If they do, excellent. If not, go to another fucking store. But don't disrespect anybody, because the whiskey business is a relationship business. And that said, definitely get your hands on some Smoke Wagon single barrels, private barrels, whatever you want to call it, if you can. Anybody have any final thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually try to get out to Bubbles to make sure I try to get.
Yeah, before they run out.
Before they run out, yeah, because that was absolutely delightful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely getting the uncut, unfiltered.
I like it.
I may even get. We'll get to that in a fucking second. Calm down. we got his final thoughts. Now I'm on my final thoughts.
What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are: I'm definitely getting a bottle of the uncut, unfiltered, and if I find my happy ass in a Bubbles wine and spirits store, I'm gonna end up with a bottle of that too. But I would be 100% happy with just the plain Jane, baseline, run of the mill offering that they have, because we had a great experience with it, and it's definitely shareable. It's a daily drinker. This one here is great for a party. The uncut, unfiltered is great for a party to share, that kind of thing. I'm dragging this out because I know he just wants to say it. See that look on his face? Look at it. Look at that face. You know what he wants to say.
I got nothing to say.
He's got one thing to say. And actually, I'm done saying what I was going to say. So, would you have any final thoughts on it?
I like it.
Woo! Yes, sir. So,
I like it too.
thank you for watching this episode of the Savor the Burn podcast. And this was a mighty fine bourbon. I'm really glad that we got to try this out. Thank you for doing the legwork and bringing this and making this happen.
Close to that.
Thank you, Mr. Phil, for showing up. And where can people find you and what it is that you do for your hobbies, for your brewery stuff?
So my brewery is Squirrel Fire Craft Beer. I think there's a Facebook page out there. It may not be as active as it once was. I assure you, people pay attention to it. I do. There's also, I stream on Twitch, so Jeebus Crisis on Twitch. You can find my video channel, Jeebus Crisis on YouTube.
JEEB.
Jeebus Crisis on Instagram and Twitter.
Or IS.
So JEEBUSCRISIS. Jeebus Crisis.
Okay.
I haven't been streaming too much lately, but usually it's always on Fridays. We have a Fuck It Friday stream, and sometimes I brew on those streams live, so you can actually talk to me while I'm brewing and make fun of my boots.
Boots.
Yeah, I have to wear protective water boots.
Okay.
I'm dealing with 240 volts at 60 amps. So
Jeebus.
you just see.
Jeebus Christ.
Jeebus Christ. So, you just want to make sure, even though everything's on a GFCI, you just want to make sure that your feet don't get wet. Change your socks.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And your underwear.
if the moment arrives. But yeah.
Whew, that was not a fart. you reach a certain age where you never trust a fart and you never waste a boner, and that I would not be okay with getting.
That was just the glass, man. It wasn't like.
What are you doing down there? So definitely, thank you for checking out this episode of the Savor the Bird podcast. Thank you, Phil, for stopping by. Thank you,
Pleasure.
Mr. W2, for all the editing room floor content that he disposes of, and all the legwork you do, and all the every fucking thing you do, man. Like this podcast would not be the same without you. It'd just be me being like, die like whiskey. Have you heard of Jim Beam? Anyway, so
now I'm in on the joke.
if you're in town, check out Bubbles. Go buy a bottle. Tell them Savor the Burn sent you. And no matter who you are, what you're drinking, where you're shopping from, and who you're drinking with, never forget,
Keep
Keep on burning.
And stuff.